Pause for a moment and ask yourself an honest question. Have you ever noticed how, even after achieving something you deeply desired, be it a professional success, a relationship, or an old dream, that feeling of complete fulfillment fades away quickly? You work hard, you plan, you give up your time, your energy, even parts of yourself. And then, when you finally get there, when you hold in your hands what always seemed so important, joy comes, but it doesn't stay. Fulfillment slips through your fingers like sand. In a matter of days, sometimes hours, the restlessness returns. You look around and realize the emptiness is still there. Maybe hidden, maybe quieter, but never truly gone. And then a new goal appears, another desire, another. When that happens, then I'll be happy. And just like that, in an invisible cycle, you dive back into the chase, running after what you believe is the missing piece. But deep down, you know this feeling. You've been here before, and the questions begin to arise. Why does this emptiness always return? Why, even after achieving so much, does something still feel missing? Could it be that the happiness I've been chasing was never real? From early on, we're taught what it takes to reach that long-awaited happiness. They give us a script, a near-universal checklist. Get a good job, achieve financial stability, find true love, start a family, be respected, admired, recognized. This narrative gets repeated at home, at school, on TV, on social media, and slowly we start believing it, as if it were a reliable map, a guaranteed path to fulfillment. But what if that map is wrong? What if the promised happiness is just a distant illusion, an oasis that vanishes? As soon as we approach it, Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds in 20th century psychology, discovered something that changes this perspective completely. He realized that most people never find true happiness, and it's not because of a lack of effort, not because of a lack of talent, not because they don't deserve it. The problem isn't who you are, it's how you're searching. There's a hidden pattern, deeply rooted, silent but powerful, a pattern that shapes our thoughts, our choices, our view of the world. It hides in our habits, in how we define success, in our dependency on others' approval, in the belief that peace will only come once everything works out. This pattern makes you believe you're not enough, that you need to achieve more, be more, have more, and no matter what you accomplish, something always seems to be missing. And the scariest part? This pattern works silently, day after day, year after year, sabotaging your happiness without you noticing. But that can change, and it all begins with a deeper look inward, with the courage to question what you've been taught, with the willingness to face a difficult truth. The happiness you've been searching for out there might only be found within, and that journey can begin now. Since we were children, we've been led to believe that happiness is some kind of prize, something that comes later, after the hard work, after the struggle, after the approval, a distant goal, only achievable if we follow the right path, the one society laid out for us. That path is often wrapped in phrases like, study hard, get a good job, and your life will be set. When you find the right person, everything will make sense. Build a family, buy a house, find stability, then you'll be happy. The formula seems simple, and so we dedicate years, sometimes a lifetime, trying to follow it. We believe that if we do everything right, happiness will eventually arrive, like a reward. But what if that formula is broken? What if we're chasing something that was never there to begin with? Think about it. If money truly brought fulfillment, why do so many millionaires fall into depression? If love were the ultimate answer to happiness, why do so many married people feel lonely? If fame and success were enough, why do celebrities, admired by millions, sink into existential crises? These questions reveal something uncomfortable, but necessary. We've been taught to look for happiness in the wrong place. We've been conditioned to look outward, to achievements, titles, validation, but real happiness can't be found out there. And the more we trust this model, the further we drift from ourselves. This is the great trap, believing that happiness is something to be earned, when in fact, it's something that must be built from the inside out. Even after realizing this, even after understanding that happiness isn't something you conquer, but something you cultivate. Still, many of us remain stuck, trapped in invisible patterns, in ways of thinking and living that we inherited, not chose. Carl Jung observed that throughout life, most people fall into 3 core traps, 3 silent patterns that pull us away from a lighter, truer, and, above all, happier life. Let's look at each one with honesty. First mistake, living to please others. Are you truly living your life? From a young age, we're taught that being accepted is essential, that pleasing others is the safer route, that meeting expectations earns us love. So, we do what's expected, we say what's agreeable, we suppress what we truly feel, and over time, we forget who we really are. How many decisions have you made just to avoid disappointing someone? How many dreams have you buried to fit into someone else's expectations? How many times have you smiled on the outside while breaking apart on the inside? The truth is harsh, but necessary. As long as you live for the approval of others, your happiness will never truly be yours. You may achieve success, praise, recognition, but inside, something will still feel off because you're not living, you're performing. True freedom begins when you have the courage to disappoint others and to honor yourself, not out of selfishness, but out of integrity, because there is no joy in being accepted for who you're not. Second mistake, avoiding your shadow. What you reject controls you. Have you ever reacted in ways you didn't understand? Felt anger, fear, or sadness without knowing where it came from? That happens when parts of us are pushed into the unconscious, and there they stay alive, acting in the background. Carl Jung called this hidden part the shadow. It holds everything we've been taught to deny, our weaknesses, our raw desires, our impulses, but also our sensitivity, our creativity, our authenticity. And the more we avoid this side, the more it silently takes control. Emotional outbursts, repetitive blocks, paralyzing insecurities, all signs of a shadow at work, unseen. You can't heal what you refuse to face, and you can't free yourself from what you continue to deny. Integrating the shadow is one of the most liberating acts in life. It means looking at yourself with compassion and courage. It means saying, I accept who I am, even the parts I was taught to hide, because only when you embrace your wholeness can you live in truth. Third mistake, waiting for happiness in the future. The illusion of this might be the most common mistake and the most cruel. We believe we'll be happy when we land that job, when we make more money, when we find the one, when everything is finally in place. But when never comes, because for every goal reached, another one appears. We live in a constant, almost, always close, but never there. This is the trap. Thinking happiness is always just a little bit ahead, never now. But here's the truth. Happiness can only be lived in the present. It's not in tomorrow. It's not in the next step or the next success. It's right here in this moment, in this breath. Happiness isn't a destination, it's a state of presence. As long as your peace is tied to the future, you'll keep running in circles, and it will always feel like something's missing. The awakening, a new way to live. Now that you've seen the mistakes, now that the path is clearer, the question is, what now? How do I change? The answer isn't in a motivational quote, or a quick fix, or a pretty phrase taped to your mirror. The answer is in a real path, a deep one, a brave one, an honest one. Carl Jung called it individuation. To individuate is to become who you truly are, not what the world wants, not what you were shaped to be, but what you've always been, deep down, and forgot. It's a journey of reconciliation with every part of you, light and shadow, strength and vulnerability, logic and emotion, and it begins with 3 essential steps. Step 1, embrace your shadow. What you reject still controls you. The first step is simple and immense. Stop running. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to hide your flaws. You don't need to deny your human emotions. Everything you push into the unconscious, a fear, a wound, an impulse, doesn't disappear. It grows stronger in the dark and plays out silently in your life. How many times have you blown up, then asked yourself, why did I react like that? How many times have you self-sabotaged and felt deep regret afterward? Those are the signs. The shadow, asking to be seen, to be heard, to be embraced. Embracing your shadow isn't surrendering to your worst self. It's bringing light to what was hidden. It's recognizing that your fragility is just as much a part of you as your strength. Your anger can become courage. Your pain can awaken compassion. Your sadness can teach depth. When you welcome your shadow, it stops controlling you and starts empowering you. That's the beginning of true freedom. Step 2, stop seeking external approval. Your happiness has to belong to you. How many phases of your life have you spent trying to be who others expected you to be? How many versions of yourself have you abandoned just to fit in? You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to follow the mold. You don't need to shrink to fit. The only person who needs to approve your life is you. When you stop measuring your worth through other people's eyes, something new is born inside you, authenticity. And with it comes true freedom. Freedom to say no without guilt, to say yes with truth, to make mistakes without shame. You didn't come to this world to play a role. You came to live your truth. And only on that ground, where truth grows, does real happiness bloom. Step 3, live in the present. Happiness only exists now. The third and final step is understanding that happiness isn't a prize at the end of the road. It is the road. It's the way you walk, the way you breathe, the way you treat yourself. Your mind will try to pull you into the future. It'll say, only when everything's in place, only when I'm different, only when life is perfect. But here's the truth. Nothing will ever be 100% perfect. And that's okay, because life doesn't happen then. Life happens now, in this instant, in this breath, in this moment you're listening. Happiness is not the absence of problems, it's presence. It's you with all that you are, with all that you feel, with all that you carry. Being fully here is the greatest act of self-love there is. So, what now? Now that the mistakes have been revealed, now that the path is clear, only one thing remains, a choice. You can keep searching outside for what has always lived within, or you can begin, today, the most important journey of your life, the journey back to your essence. It won't be easy, but it will be the only journey, truly worth taking. So then, are you ready? Ready to face your shadow? Ready to stop living for others? Ready to be here, fully, now? If your answer is yes, then take a deep breath, look within, and take the first step, because now the path is open